Good afternoon. My name is Jenna Driscoll, and this is my research presentation for 701 through Morningside College. My study was on the effects of family and student-centered practices on attendance in elementary grades. What is the problem? The problem is students are missing school, and they're missing a lot of school, and at the elementary level, it's going unnoticed. National data on student attendance has determined that more than 7 million students in K-12 are absent at least 3 weeks out of the 2015-2016 school year. 11% of the 5 and 6-year-old students miss more than 18 days of school out of a typical 180 days of school. Most studies focus on middle school and high school students, and much less is known about the relationship between elementary students and absenteeism because it's not tracked nearly as much, because attendance is tracked using the daily average attendance, which just tells you how many students are gone. It doesn't tell you which students are gone. My why for this project was because I chose this topic to research because as an elementary teacher, I see students with attendance concerns already. I see certain students starting a path to disconnect from school, which sets them on an uphill battle to student achievement because they are losing valuable instruction and social interactions with their peers. When students are not connected to school, it will lead to poor choices in middle school and high school. At high school, students are more likely to drop out of school and not graduate high school. Earning a high school diploma is the first step to higher education and earning a higher paying job. And I also wanted to see if by providing family and student-centered interventions would decrease absenteeism and increase reading fluency. So the review of literature, the first review is over the Positive Action Program, which is a K-6 based social emotional character education program concerning student achievement, attendance, and behavior. It's kind of an all-encompassing how is a school as an entity working to improve the culture at the school. And 20 public elementary schools in Hawaii were selected for it, and the students participated in weekly 15-minute lessons on how to take care of yourself physically and emotionally and how to work with others. Resources also were provided to families to connect to the school. The lessons provided an increase in positive school culture and student achievement, increased in math and reading, along with less students being gone, and discipline issues were also down. The other review that I looked at was a truancy court prevention project, which wanted to reduce the high school dropout rate. The TCPP is a multidisciplinary collaboration between an area university, public school district, judicial department, and educational agencies. And what they found was a longitudinal study that reviewed academic scores of middle school students, and 42 students were referred to the project, were found to have consistent data within school records of teachers noting that concerns with attendance started all the way back in elementary school. The students missed an average of 26 days. However, the number of missed days ranged from 11 to 76 days of school. That's a lot of school in 1 year, and that adds up every year. And research had found within this group that the students who were targeted in this of the 42 were bilingual, living in poverty, and health concerns. So the theoretical framework that I looked at to support my research was the Bronfenbrenner's ecological model to help understand the many layers of human development and the effects of chronic absenteeism with students. So you have the individual, you have the student, you have the school, you have the family, you have the school, you have the beliefs of school, you have the positive and negative, and how they all interact. I also use the multi-tiered system of supports, the MTSS, and that includes out of the whole school population that 80% are able to respond to what's being provided at school. They're able to get their academic needs met and their social emotional needs met. 15 to 20% of the students, though, need a little bit more support. So they're getting the universal support, but they're also getting some targeted interventions, maybe in reading, maybe in math, maybe just adults interacting with them a little bit more, just to show them that school is an important place and we want them there. From there, you have the top tier, which is between the 1% to 5% who receive additional intensive support for academics. But typically, academics are seen as a higher focus than attendance, so attendance has not been a top concern for school districts. The goals and objectives of this project include the purpose of this qualitative study was to determine the impact of family and student-centered practices on student attendance and reading fluency. The independent variables were the family-centered practices and the student-centered practices. The dependent variables were student attendance and student oral reading fluency. The measurement device that I used was the FastBridge curriculum-based measurement in reading, and my hypothesis was following an intervention using family and student-centered practices, student absenteeism would decrease and reading fluency would increase. The participants in this group. So looking at the school building data that I had, there were 10 students ranging from 1st to 5th grade that had been targeted for chronic absenteeism because they had missed a minimum of 20 school days the previous school year. There were 5 boys and 5 girls. The ethnic background happened to be 50% African American students and 50% Caucasian students. So I used the daily attendance data, so I just tracked students every day who was here and who was not here, and during the intervention phase they tracked it themselves. I also used the FastBridge CMR grade level reading passages. The data acquired from the FastBridge technical manual states that reliability for it ranges between 0.88 and 0.93, and the validity evidence from 0.69 to 0.97 for elementary students in grades 1st through 6th. The procedures, what did I do? The first week I obtained the baseline reading fluency data, and I started collecting the student attendance data. And I continued collecting the student attendance data for 3 weeks. At the 4th week, starting the treatment phase, I did a mid-treatment data on the reading fluency to see where they're at. I also introduced the family practices, which were just I called the families to say thank you for getting them to school. I noticed that they've been in school for so many days, and just saying thank you for doing a good job. And I also introduced the student-centered practices, which included meeting with students every day throughout the day, like during the lunch period or after school, and talking with them about how their day went. I also when I met with them, we tracked their attendance, and when they were there, they were able to put a sticker on their chart, and we talked about how many stickers they can get, and they were excited to get more stickers because they were motivated to be at school. And then that continued for 4 weeks, and after that, the last week of the intervention at 8 weeks, post-rating fluency data was collected. So now on to data analysis. A pair of t-tests were used to determine the significance between the mean words per minute scores and baseline scores. And I looked at the percent of change between the phases for each participant because the age difference and the reading ability in the students. It would not be comparing the same numbers or raw data using a 1st grader and a 5th grader for reading, because yes, all students are both reading, but they're reading at very different reading abilities, and so that's why I use the percent of change over raw scores. And I looked at the FAST CBMR, which was used to monitor the fluency progress. And the hypothesis was confirmed within the study of using the family and student-centered practices that their reading fluency would increase because they were at school more, they were getting provided more instruction and time support with peers. And this is looking at their attendance data, and average they were missing at least 1 day a week in the 4-week period, and out of the month they were missing almost 3 days within the month. And the percent of change between the baseline phase and the treatment phase was a 0.33. So implications for students. Students can benefit by making connections with adults on an individual basis at the school to help support their academic and social success as they progress through the grade level. So all kids need that one-on-one teacher to say, hey, you're doing a good job, or keep it up, or what's going on, what's bothering you, how can I help support you? And students who attend school more frequently will have a greater chance of graduating high school and to secure a job and continue with education past high school. For families and parents, parents play an important role in their child's education. By working productively with the teachers, students have a greater chance of succeeding at school. And the school can provide resources to families in a variety of media such as Facebook, postcards, autodialers, newsletters, TV announcements made to parents on how they can support their child at home, or hey, just here's a quick reminder of what's going on at school or what's coming up, or don't forget about this. Implications for schools. This research study provides evidence to teachers and administrators on how important the MTSS and RTI interventions have a positive impact on student achievement and increased attendance. It also impacts teachers by providing a method to connect with students individually who may want to start checking out of school and to be able to reconnect them into the school community. Implications for the community. This research demonstrates the need for policymakers to change the law to require school starting at the age of 5 or kindergarten instead of the age of 6. Or even better, which would be to require preschool for all 4-year-olds. Too many parents do not realize the need for kids to be in school at an early age. They need to be starting school and preschool, and the benefits of the socialization and the involvement within the school community. Just another layer within the framework of we're here to help you out. Limitations and recommendations. Within the study, it was challenging to meet with all 10 students throughout the day. So a recommendation would be to spread the school resources and have assigned targeted students with other teachers to help spread the need within the building. And our recommendation is that all schools have volunteers to support and connect with students. Students need and want an adult to connect with at school. Within the study, it was a short time frame. A longer study would provide additional research data improving attendance because it's not a short-term fix due to the multitude of variables of why a student has missed school. And you could also start at the beginning of this school year. This research project was done in the spring semester, so if you were to start it in the beginning of the school year, you could have more support for it because everything's new, and hey, here's a big kickoff to that project. Implications and also recommendations is that it was a small sample size. There's only 10 students studied in it, and additional buildings would yield additional sample sizes and better results. The building that the district that the school is in a district of 14,000 students, so only using one elementary. The results were limited on what they found. Also, you could change it or adapt it to having preschool and kindergarten students within the study. They were excluded from the study due to their reading abilities because their abilities are not able to be measured using the CBMR. So that's my study. Thank you for watching.